Wonderful. Hi, welcome. If you're catching this live, thank you so much. If you're catching this on replay, please do give us a hashtag replay or comment on where you found it. So if it's YouTube, please hit subscribe. I like one of my kids when I do that. I love it. Hit subscribe. It's one of those days. Technology has been wonderful. So if you don't know me, I'm Stacey Dudley, the founder of the Clarity Circle, a company that assists people with their personal and professional development worldwide. So what we want to do is create a tidal wave of clarity, so allowing people to raise their conscious level of awareness to get the best out of their life, full fulfillment, to create balance, and to understand what's serving them and what is not serving them well, which beautifully leads us on to the fabulous Gemma from Sober Gem, who I worked with, started a couple of years ago. We worked together a couple of years ago, and it was an extreme eye-opener for myself, actually, when she when she started coming in talking all about the effects of alcohol on our mindset and so many different things. Anyway, it's safe to say I have definitely become far more productive for having Gemma within my life, that's for sure. So I'll hand over to Gemma so she can introduce herself a little bit. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them on here. If you want questions answering that are extremely confidential, or you've caught this and you don't want anybody to know, we are extremely confidential. So either contact myself or contact Gemma directly. I will ensure her details for Sober Gem are on the page, and you can email her as well if you don't want to send a Facebook Messenger. There are access there, so just know that you're not alone. And that there is support there. So I'll shut up now. Gemma.
Thanks, Stacey. Yeah, I do remember when I first sent a message to work with you, and you thought your secretary at the time was taking the Mickey.
Yes, I was like,
because you'd been out or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, hi, my name's Gemma Farhall. I am the founder of Sober Gem, and my main job is being a mum of 4. Got 2 older children, 2 younger children. In my spare time, I love to help women who want to change their relationship with alcohol. Like those constant hangovers and just living life a bit sort of at a substandard level. You're just always feeling a bit shit, which is how I was. I had a really turbulent relationship with alcohol for well over 10 years. I've been alcohol free now for 3 years, but that wasn't actually my goal when I started this journey. I never went into it thinking, right, I'm never going to drink again, or I'm like going to stop drinking for longer than a few weeks. Really, I think I set my very first goals I set myself. Well, that's not a lie. The first goal of when I properly stopped this time, I set myself 100 days. But before that, I'd done 10 days, 30 days, a couple of months, just never really stuck at it long enough to see the actual benefits of alcohol-free living. But I'm definitely not the wine police, and I'm not on a mission to stop everyone from drinking. I'm not going to start campaigning in supermarkets or tutting when I see people buy alcohol or anything like that. That is not what I'm about. I'm here to help women and men, but I predominantly work with women, that just want to change their relationship. Most of us, and I definitely don't fall into the bracket of alcoholic. There's a very specific line drawn in society, whether you're either an alcoholic or you're a normal drinker, but actually there's this massive area in the middle where drinking can become very problematic, but it's shunned. You don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. We don't want to be judged for it. We feel shame around it. A lot of us, definitely, I used to joke a lot about my drinking to make a light of it, whereas actually inside I was thinking, oh my God, everyone else can drink normally, and why can't I drink like everyone else? And since I've stopped, I've quickly learned that actually a lot of people feel the way that I did, but it's just not spoken about. It's a bit like how mental health was. Nobody wanted to speak about not being okay, and because you didn't want to come across as not coping, and that's very much how we are with drinking. I don't miss alcohol anymore. And I don't wish that I could drink in moderation, which was what my main goal back in the day. I just wish I could be a take it or leave it drinker.
Mm.
And I don't need to use up my limited supply of willpower anymore, because alcohol's gone from having pretty much full control over me to like literally having zero power at all. And that's because I've completely changed my mindset around drinking. I've completely shifted, the way that I see it, the way that it makes me feel, the way that everything. So yeah.
It's it's so powerful, the middle drinking bracket, because how many of you get home from work and go and pour a glass of wine? How many of you go and meet your friend for a little bit of lunch and just have that little glass of alcohol? I mean, pot kettle black here, guys. Like, I'm not preaching to no one, like, seriously. How many of you go out, on a Friday and think, we'll have a meal and we'll have a couple of glasses. Next minute, it's 4 hours deep, shots down your neck. You've got to wake up the next day to the kids feeling snappy, horrendous. You've got work to do, as entrepreneurs, business owners, as mums, we all have these duties within our life to do, don't we?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there's so many that can resonate with thinking that that's actually okay.
Yeah, and it's
Are they okay?
it's
Are they okay?
progressive as well. I mean, I used to like drinking was the thing that I was good at. When I was in my 20s and my late teens and stuff, I could go out drinking and I was really good at it. And I was a party girl, but I never drank at home. And then as I got, I had kids, and then I started having a drink at home because I could afford to. It wasn't like a thing that I had to save up for to go on the weekend. And then it happens progressively. Most of us don't go from having a couple of glasses of wine on a Friday night to drinking every day, but it gradually happened for me where I was drinking up to 2 bottles of wine every day at home. And I see myself as lucky now that it didn't really agree with me, because the symptoms for me were very, very strong. I had crippling anxiety, really bad heart palpitations. The hangovers were just horrendous. And I couldn't live like that as well. I was also trying to run a business. So, I mean, there'll be lots of women on here that have run their own businesses. And I am talking to the mums as well, because being a mum is running a business, right? We've got loads of little employees that don't do anything they're told, running around arguing with you and fighting back at everything. And it really does affect our productivity, our focus, our clarity. It just, even in small amounts, alcohol can really affect the way that we show up to our lives every single day. It affects our energy levels, our sleep. I mean, it actually does stop us from getting good sleep. Lots of people drink to help them get to sleep, which it does do, but we don't get any of the good sleep. So we still wake up in the morning feeling like, or a lot of us wake up in the middle of the night and then we can't get back to sleep. I definitely didn't relate any of this to alcohol. I genuinely thought that alcohol was helping me with everything. I had really bad anxiety, but the anxiety went away when I drank. What I just didn't realise is that the alcohol was making the anxiety worse. It was like literally pouring gas onto a fire.
Yeah.
But that's because we're not really sold it. We're sold alcohol as self-care, but actually it's completely the opposite. And it's very easy to get into the habit of using it as self-care because it's a quick fix. And we love a quick fix nowadays.
Yeah, it's I remember saying, oh, it's such a stressful day. Oh, the kids drive me mad. I've got all this work to finish. I've got a list as long as my arm, because we're all trying to reach our goals, our dreams, our desires. And in order to do that, we must have goals and aspirations, and we have to do the tick list. We have to do the mundane jobs that we don't like doing. And feeling that pressure and stress of managing all the plates, it's like, right, oh, I'm gonna have a glass of wine, sit at the computer, and get fuck all done.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right? That's it. That's it in a nutshell. Because what happens is we slowly decline our productivity. And then the after effect is the brain fog. And so for me, I massively noticed how I was on weeks where I didn't drink and I had, I was on with my list, to then weeks that I was drinking, there was nothing done.
Yeah.
That literally, and I'm like, why have I done that? It doesn't even make sense. Or, where was I connecting the dots for that? And this is when you need to get super specific as an entrepreneur, as a coach, as a business owner, as a mum. Do you want to live your life like that, where you're always striving to get that next thing, to strive for more, but you're never truly hitting it? And one of the biggest things that I have that come to me, and probably you the same as well, excuse me, is I never finish a job. I never finish. Like, I get something to nearly like finished and then I never execute it correctly. Okay, so let's have a look at your lifestyle then.
Yeah.
How is the, we all talk about energetics, but how is the route that you're driving to school? How is your social circle that you're surrounding yourself with? How is your drinking and eating habits? Are you fueling your body correctly to give you optimum brain power, and self-care within? Okay, no. So that's why you're not executing things. And we're not here to preach to say you must stop drinking. What we're saying is, you know what? If you want to achieve a goal, a dream, or a desire, and you feel like you're never executing something, maybe this is something that you need to look at. Maybe this is something you can realize. Yeah. And, have that discussion with Gemma and say, do you know what? Actually, this is affecting me. And I didn't realize it was, but I don't know how to stop or to limit or to have those conversations. And I remember one night when I was going out and I was saying, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm not going to drink. And we're in this group chat and I'm saying, well, they're not peer pressuring me. Like, they're not peer pressuring me. And I was like, no, I'm not drinking. No. And it was like, oh, you're so boring. Well, actually, I'm way funner than you without the alcohol. And I
Yeah.
get up without a hangover. So I'm
I
good.
saw a really funny meme actually the other day, and it had Will Ferrell on it, and it said something along the lines of, "So you think I'm boring for not drinking? Maybe it's you that needs to drink to dull out your dull personality," or something along those lines.
Brilliant.
I didn't put it on my page because I thought it might offend people, but yeah, it's about understanding our own relationship with alcohol, and like you saying about the peer pressure, that is again, it comes down to us people pleasing and setting boundaries, because if we want something enough for ourselves, if you drink to please other people, that's people pleasing, because if you drink because you enjoy it and you really love it, then that's fine. Probably not even watching this, but people that want to do something about their drinking and don't because they're worried about what other people are going to say, that's where we need to start setting some boundaries. And it's about being aware of what our own relationship with alcohol is like, because if we're paying attention to our own thought patterns, most of the time it's not the drink that we want, it's something else going on. You could be absolutely starving hungry, or we haven't got time to eat, or thirsty because we haven't drank, or like you say, looking after yourself. Most of us are drinking green stuff and taking vitamins and gut health and all that kind of thing, but then we're drinking, which we don't know. Lots of people don't actually even properly know the dangers of alcohol, because we're not sold it. There's nothing on the labels to tell us. Most people don't know that alcohol's a depressant that wreaks absolute havoc with our hormones, because it totally messes around. I'm trying not to swear there. Totally messes around with our dopamine and like all sorts of different hormones in our brain. It lowers us, so we think that it's picking us up, but it's only picking us up from where it's literally put us in the first place, and we get stuck in this cycle. So a lot of women I work with can easily go Monday to Friday without drinking, and then they'll have a drink on a Friday, maybe a Saturday as well, feel a little bit jaded Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, start feeling better, drink again. And they don't relate that to the alcohol. It's like most people like Monday blues and Monday and Tuesday. Oh God, it's thinking it's because it's the beginning of the week and they've got the whole week left. But a lot of the time, it's actually because they drank on the weekend. And Monday gets a really raw deal because it's like
Oh, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday as well. Tuesday. I
Tuesday's
can't.
the
I
worst
can't.
day for.
Yeah, I can't. Being PC, this, I can't say this, but we all know what Tuesday is, don't we? Like literally, it's the biggest come down ever. You can't walk into Asda and get a line of cocaine, can you? But you can
No,
walk into a bottle of vodka, the effect on your body and what it does and how we're not told this.
we're not told. And it was, I mean, it was, oh God, what's the word? Declared, let's say,
Mhm.
probably a posher word than that, a, a carcinogen, the same as smoking in like 1988 or something. Don't quote me on that date, but it's definitely in the 80s. It it does really increase our risk of certain cancers, breast cancer, especially for women. The more you drink, so the more units you have every week, the more your chances go up. And loads of people don't know this. I mean, there's a really famous lady who actually, her book was what started my journey, called Claire Pooley, and she stopped drinking quite a few years. I think it was 9 years ago now. And not very long after she stopped drinking, she actually got breast cancer. I mean, she was absolutely fine, thank God. But she said she didn't realise that it was even a risk factor. So, and alcohol does affect women differently to men. Our bodies are genetically different. We've got more water in our bodies, and therefore the alcohol goes into our system quicker, which is why we get drunk quicker, but it also takes longer to come out of our system. So I used to think I was, God, right, I'm blacking out all the time and stuff like that because it literally my body just couldn't handle it. We're it's like I say, it's sold as self-care, but actually it's more like self-sabotage. But so many people feel like this, and we all tend to feel like we're on our own. And I was definitely one of them. I felt like, God, people will judge me, or
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
else can drink normally and I can't. But it's not true.
It is the judging, and it's like we said about how it goes into your system, how it comes out. Alcohol also massively affects when, older women are coming into the menopause.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I notice when they have a drink of alcohol, they'll get this bright red here. And the effects that it has, this I'm saying all this. I'm not the expert. Gemma, knows all of this stuff, but it does have this massive tie, oh, we're getting out walking, we're walking in nature, we're eating healthy, we're looking at the extra multivitamins and minerals that we can have to help us with it on our menopause journey, on our, brain function, cognitive function, to have, optimum conscious level of awareness as an entrepreneur. Then slam a martini.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a toxin. I mean, there's no difference to the alcohol that they put into our drinks.
Mhm.
I'm going all preachy now, but I'm not meaning it to be preachy. It's just because it's unbelievable, really, that what they put into our drinks, the alcohol part of it is no different to what they put in the petrol or what they put in the cleaning products. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I've worked with clients before that I've said, they said, I'd really like to be able to just drink a little bit. And I've said, if I gave you the option to drink a little bit of arsenic, would you drink it?
Mm.
In its purest form, alcohol and arsenic are the same amount of poisonous. You just wouldn't drink. It's very, very watered down when they put it into our drinks. But if drinking's not causing you an issue, then that's absolutely fine. Lots of people can drink and moderate their drinking. It's just because drinking's not their thing.
A lifestyle. It's a
Yeah,
lifestyle. It's the health. It's the what do you want out of your future life? Now back, years ago when everyone was, having the glass of wine after school, going to, the middle, the middle drinking area, a couple of glasses here, that bottle on that night, that bottle on that night. You know what? It wasn't spoken about, but now there is help and support out there for, I mean, so many women, I still work in the health industry. wellness with my other business. And they come into me and they're like, oh, I've not lost weight this week, and I've done my shakes and I've done this and I've done this. And I'm like, okay, then. So could you just run me through what's going on for you? Alcohol. Alcohol. In women.
Well, yeah, because I mean, having a
Right.
glass of wine is like having it's the same amount of calories as eating a donut. You wouldn't eat 5 donuts in a night. Well, I mean, you could, but most people wouldn't.
Well,
But you're drinking just empty calories. So when we're trying to look after ourselves, it's so easily done that people are left like confused about, well, why aren't I? But again, there's no label on a bottle of wine to tell you how many calories is in it. There are on alcohol-free wines, which is
yeah, and that's another thing as well. I love going to the Ivy, and they have, and I love that the amaretto sour, non-alcoholic, and you cannot tell the difference. It doesn't
so
look.
many good choices nowadays.
Yeah, there's so many options out there, but also if it is that fear of judgment, that's why Gemma's there to support you and move around that. And I think for me, it wasn't like, oh my God, I need to stop drinking. It was like awareness. It was like, actually, why, Gemma is a qualified coach. So it was working out what were causing me to drink. What was the stress? Why did I want to reach for the glass? And when I flipped my mindset with this, most of it was the glass.
Yeah.
So I remember messaging you saying, oh, I've got this new Kylie Minogue 0% or whatever she's got. What, I think it was a Kylie Minogue one, wasn't it? Like a pink.
Yeah, that is a nice one, that.
Yeah. And I was like, I've got it in my little champagne glass, and it's like wonderful. And that was it.
Yeah, and I still now, I had a bottle of alcohol-free wine on the weekend, but I can make a bottle of alcohol-free wine. I'll have a couple of glasses on a Saturday and a couple of glasses on a Sunday, whereas it wouldn't have stood a chance when I was drinking. So it is about making those shifts that, like most people don't want to commit to never drinking again. Even I wouldn't do that. I just don't want to now. I don't see any benefit for me. I actually found trying to moderate my drinking harder than just not drinking. Because I don't want to use the word failing, because that's not how I work nowadays. But back then, to me, I was failing. I promised myself I was only going to have 2 glasses, and I ended up having 2 bottles. It was a failure for me. Now I know that it was because I was being so hard on myself. Like the self-talk also is something that I really work on with clients, because it doesn't do us any good to feel like that. You don't lose, you only learn, and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, it's about self-awareness. It's about recognizing what your triggers and your patterns especially are with drinking, and just giving yourself a break, really. If you're not going to have all the answers straight away. I mean, even I still don't now. After 3 years, I don't very, very rarely do I crave a drink, but something could happen and I would nowadays be like, oh, do you know what? I would have definitely drank then.
Yeah.
So it's like looking back, and
I think what I would say definitely is, for me, like your breakthrough sessions are not just, right, come here, we're gonna not stop drinking. I'm right, get here, locking your cupboards up with the chains. You're not going out, yada yada yada. It's not about that. It's about, right, okay, what's going on for you? What are you trying to achieve in your life? Okay, you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're a mum, right? You've got goals, that you want to achieve, and right, okay, so let's look at the whole picture. And Gemma assesses that. She looks at, what your lifestyle's like, what's going on behind the scenes within our subconscious mind, how that's playing out in your physical world. And then from that, creating that plan and knowing that you've got that support system with somebody does give you, the empowerment that you need to achieve those goals. So, we are emphasizing on, the alcohol side here, but what Gemma actually covers, she's also a Reiki master, she is fabulous at, guidance, crystals, angels, yoga. You are
I'm almost
qualified
yoga. Yeah, I'm doing my
Yeah.
yin yoga training in April. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is because this is all stuff that has helped me, especially the yin yoga. You know, I've been practicing that way before I stopped drinking. I think it's something like 2018 I started practicing yin yoga, and it's seen me through everything, and it has totally changed the way that I look at things and deal with things. So the reason that I'm training in that is because really for myself, but if I can use it to help other people as well, like it's helped me, then great. But yeah, with the drinking, it's especially with the breakthrough sessions, because they're tailored, because everybody comes to me with wanting a different thing. Well, or they want the same thing, but they can't all go about it in the same way. And like I say, most people would shit themselves if they came into a program and I said, right, you can't drink for 4 weeks. Like, I'd have shat myself if someone had said I can drink for one night. So it's just it's about changing your whole outlook on it.
Yeah.
And then naturally, when you change your outlook on it, your drinking patterns change.
Yeah. Yeah. And
you start noticing, because you start doing things differently and feeling differently. And you know, it's about noticing these things. It's not about just taking the drink away. Most people could just stop drinking if they wanted to. You like dry January, for example. Anybody can do it. It's how you feel when you're doing it. If you're not drinking in January and absolutely miserable about it, you're going to relate that, oh, not drinking equals misery. It's about changing how you feel so that you're not miserable when you can't drink, or you don't want to drink, or you're having a night off drinking. You know, and most of us don't feel like that to start with. So
it's that whole perspective. It's the whole wheel of your life. It's like I say, the things that I've learned, you know, it's been eye-opening massively, especially coming from, you know, a mining, you know, a mining background. My family are miners, you know, my aunties and uncles, oh, they love a good drink, you know, and then that's their thing, you know, it's what they do. And, you know, literally like waking up and knowing that you've been an absolute dick. Generally am, not gonna lie. I mean, I've had a few messages with Gemma saying, oh, I was an absolute idiot last night. Didn't look at my phone, cringing at what the hell I've done. I'm like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to be part of that feeling, that anxiety, because that's not who I am as a person anymore. And sometimes it takes for the what is it, the straw that broke the camel's back. Did I say that right? Get on. Yes, Dudley. Actually said something correctly like that.
yeah, and it's the whole getting over, because a lot of us, I would say probably 90% of the people that I have worked with have said, I'm going to be boring if I don't drink. And I always say, like, seriously, there is nothing more boring than having a conversation with a drunk person.
Oh, 100% when I've
And
been
then
dead
they'll talk, you know,
driver.
and there's also, when I look back, I just think how small my life was. I literally just drank, had a hangover, did a school run, did some work, went home, drank, had a hangover, did a school run, did some work, went home. That's all I did. It like it makes your world very small. Whereas now I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing this week. What am I doing that week? What am I doing? You know, I'm on here talking to you. Never would have done that. I never ever would have done this. You know, I wouldn't have even posted on Facebook, let alone been doing a live. And yeah, I'm very lucky that none of my friendships have really suffered, because I think, much more interesting.
Yeah.
My friends might be watching this going, oh, she's well boring. But I'm not. I'm not, because I can trust myself now. Whereas before I'd be constantly worried that I was slurring my words, or that I was repeating myself, or that, yeah. So I think what it is we've got a very different of what boring is, you know, whereas a lot of us think we're going to be boring, but actually alcohol literally cannot make us fun, because it's just a drink. We're the fun ones, but we just believe that we need the alcohol to make us fun, to give us a bit of confidence to do all that. So maybe it's about changing our circumstances, because if we're not confident around people, are we around the right people? That kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So if this is something that you would like to explore a little bit more, I'll put the details in. Sober Gem has a wonderful community group as well that she shares her gorgeous wisdom with. But also, like I said, completely private and confidential, her breakthrough sessions. You know, you could go in there, have a session with her and never come back. You know, it's what it
Yeah.
is. I always say knowledge is power, which then dispels fear. If you've got somebody looking from an outside perspective at why you're not getting to where you need to be and how can you move forward with this and have that there, you've got the power to decide what you want to do. And you know, as I always say, get up, get dressed and show up as the woman, as the man that you are becoming. It's your choice. You have a choice every single day, no matter what. I don't care what you did yesterday, okay? I don't, what you did yesterday is not a reflection of who you are today. You get to choose. You know, one of my massive, massive things is to just get up and just be a little bit better every single day, to smile at somebody, to be kind, to give them that, you know, I'm terrible. People laugh at me all the time. I'm like, oh, and they're like, oh gosh. But you know, he's in the little old man's in the supermarket, and I'm like,
Yeah. I'm the
yeah,
same.
you know, he's like, oh yes, I'm like, you know, yeah, just share a little bit of that with the world, and you get to choose. So if this is affecting you, or you know somebody who it is affecting, then please share it with them.
Yeah,
Would
I
you?
always say it's about, don't worry about what happened yesterday. It's about what the future you wants. So where do you want your business or your life to be in 6 months or a month from now? Or even if that feels too much of a stress, like how do you want to feel tomorrow? Do you want to feel like you did this morning when you woke up? Or do you want to feel, and my big one was sitting down on the sofa at night with like a whatever cup of tea or an alcohol-free drink or whatever, and just sitting down and knowing that I hadn't drank was just, and that I was going to wake up tomorrow feeling really good. And then you wake up the next day, you know, some people piece it together day by day, but if you don't do anything, then nothing's gonna change.
Yeah, and you're going to keep getting a cold and blaming it on anything else that's out
Although I
there.
have just had like a full 2 week.
But what I would say, you know, if you are already a part of my community and you are becoming a coach, you're an aspiring coach, or you're an entrepreneur, you know, having Gemma in your corner significantly changed my life, my productivity, and the way that I action things and execute them correctly to get sustainable results. And that's the difference. You know, I still drink, right? There's periods of time where I don't drink at all, you know, and there's times where I'll be like, no, no, thanks. Because I'm in control, I'm in charge of it. It's up to me what I do. So I just don't want you to think that we're here just saying you need to be sober, because that's not the case for me. However, let me tell you, my life has significantly improved from being more aware. And my body, like, oh, and my skin. I remember when I literally did a full stint and you was like, you're looking fabulous. And I was like, yeah, I've not been drinking. And she was like, oh, funny that, isn't it? I was like, yeah, I was like, my abs are coming back. I was like, I've lost weight. I'm getting out walking again. I'm running. I was like, my skin is like amazing. Everyone's like, you're glowing. I'm like, yeah, that's because of the non-alcohol.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy.
It's a ripple effect, and you find that more people do it with you. A lot of my girlfriends, when we go for lunch now, are like, I want the cinnamon chai latte with oat milk. And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll try that one. Instead of going, glass of fizz, please, glass of fizz.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it
It-
definitely affects your day-to-day life more than you think. So
yeah,
there'll be a lot of people that might watch this that, you know, maybe didn't, like me, I just didn't think. I mean, in 2019, I was pretty fucked, to be fair. I was at the doctor's consistent. I thought I was dying. I was having stomach scans, liver scans, bowel scans, head scans, because my body just wasn't working. And when I stopped drinking and all of it started going away, I was absolutely astounded.
Yeah.
But some people might not, it's different for everybody. Some people might get really bad symptoms. I mean, some people can't even drink without being violently sick, and yet
Yeah.
they'll still drink. So
Ooh.
it does affect everyone differently. And there will be people watching this that probably didn't even think that their drinking was an issue at all. There'll be people whose drinking isn't an issue for them. But I've worked with people who they might only drink 2 or 3 times a year, but when they drink, it's a massive issue. Or when they're not drinking, all they're thinking about is not drinking, which isn't the goal. The goal is for it to not have any effect on your thoughts whatsoever. And like you say, you have full control, full choice,
Yeah.
full power, because it is just a liquid, the whole country seems to just be obsessed with this liquid that doesn't do actually what most people think it's going to do.
Absolutely. So another incredible session for International Women's Week. As we move forward, we've still got so many incredible women coming up this week with so many different topics. So thank you so much, Gemma. We will be sharing your information and also this across our YouTube channels as well. So if anyone has any questions, please do reach out to us. Stay tuned because there's more coming. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful
Thanks,
day,
ladies.
evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. Bye-bye.
Bye.